Hi, this is Genesis and I'm with Sozo Education and Beauty Supply. I recently became a distributor for Senegence, so I just wanted to share with you a few of my tips and tricks that I've been learning along the way trying out the LipSense and the makeup line. So I'm going to start off with doing my brows, and I'm going to use Garnet. I take on my palette here, I'm just going to dab a small amount onto there. I do store everything upside down because it's a little bit easier for you to be able to see as you're working. And then I'm going to take a very thin liner brush. I do find that the brushes that have more natural hairs work better than a synthetic brush. I think it spreads it a little bit easier. So I'm going to sculpt out my brow first, and then kind of make like hair-like strokes as I'm going along to add in the detail. If you make any mistakes at this point, you do want to get rid of them, you know, as much as you can sooner than later, just because with the makeup line, it's designed to be able to last longer for you, so you can get full day wear, or sometimes even though you're not supposed to. I have left it on longer than that, and I have woken up with perfect brows in the morning. So given that fact, if you get anywhere you don't want it to be, you need to remove that sooner. I wanted a color that I have red hair, you'll see at the end of this video. So I wanted to have a color that had a little bit of red in it, but also still more natural looking, because I don't need to have bright fuchsia hair, or brow color, if you will. Okay, I'm just going to check that real quick. Okay, so now I have a pretty natural brow, something pretty quick, and very small amount of product was used for that. Then I'm going to go into my shadow. I like to either use Snow, which is white, or Candlelight. It's more of a neutral color. And then Whisper Pink is another softer one. So if I'm going to be doing more pink or purple tones, maroon tones, then I'll go ahead and use the light pink as a base. It's still super, super light, just to create a base for the rest of your colors. And then I would use the Candlelight, or even the Sandstone Pearl if I want to do a color that has more nude tones to it. Again, I prefer to use the natural brushes versus using, say, one like this that's a synthetic hair. I know it doesn't look it, but I find that the Senegence spreads a little bit better with using a natural hair versus the synthetic. It has a little bit more better coverage. You don't really need a lot of it, so I'm just going to dot it onto my eye. I know it looks like it's a lot more, but it's really not. Get up onto my lid, and then I'm gonna come all the way up underneath my brow to create a little bit of a highlight. And I don't really worry about blending like up in here too much, because again, when I put my foundation on, it's gonna help to kind of cover up everything. I do use a liquid foundation, but either way, when you do your foundation last, I find that you can cover up a lot of mistakes that you might have made when using your eyeshadow, or, you know, doing your shaping for your brows. I travel a lot, and I find that traveling with the smaller container versus like all of the eyeshadows, it travels much better. You do have to worry about the liquids if you're just doing a carry-on, but the amount that's in there, you can fit a lot inside of your baggie, your quart size baggie. and I don't have any issues like before. Some of my eyeshadows would bust open and break just through the natural traveling, and I don't really have that issue when I'm traveling with these because there's nothing really for them to break. They would have to really be going after my suitcase in order to break them. So after I've got that base done, I think I'm going to use a little bit of the amethyst, just a purple color, in my crease, but I want to make it a little bit deeper. So you have to be careful, but I am going to use the Onyx. I'm just going to do 1 dot of the Onyx, blend that in, and then use the purple on top of that to get a deeper purple. So I'm going to wipe off a majority of what's on this tube to make sure that I only get a little tiny bit of it. Put it right in the crease. And the thing about this, you can always build. So if you find that it's not enough for you and you want to create a little bit more depth, you can always add more. But it's very difficult to take away because of the nature of the product. It's designed to stay there. I'm just trying to kind of like feather it out a little bit and then bring it just that little bit on the inside once I've kind of got it worked in a little bit. Check in my other mirror here. Do you think I want to go just a tad bit deeper? I think if you know what colors you want to use and you're not playing around with it, then you can do a full face of makeup in 5-7 minutes, no problem. Like if you always wear the same shadows, you know exactly where you're going with them. It's very easy to do a quick makeup in the morning routine with this. I'm just gonna check out my other mirror here real quick. Okay, and then now I'm gonna add the amethyst to that. Again, focusing on my corner first, and I'm kind of doing like little circular as well as like back and forth strokes, doing the outside first to distribute the most amount of the pigment and then bring it in. I've seen a lot of people do the cut crease. I'm not really so good at that. And see, I won't even worry about any of this stuff because when I do my foundation, it's just all going to blend out. A lot of people are doing the cut crease. I find that with mine that it makes my eyes kind of look cut off a little bit. If you find, like right now, I think that I've brought the darker color over just a little bit too much. I have some that's left on my brush from when I did the lighter pink, and I'm just going to go in and kind of feather that back out. I would say doing the tutorials in this screen is like not the easiest thing to do. I definitely have an appreciation for all of the makeup people out there doing tutorials because it's a little bit difficult. I'm really trying to stay back behind that crease in my eye to make sure that I don't bring it down any further. Definitely for mine, if I go in too heavy with the dark color, then, or too far down, I guess, with the dark color, it does not look pretty. I'm just kind of getting off any of the excess of the Onyx onto my hand before I bring this into the center. Okay, and again, if you find, you know, that you have used too much because of like how this product dries, you can easily go back in and be able to add a lighter color that to the deeper to fix any of the issues that you have. Okay, let me check my other mirror. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to take just a little bit of that, the Whisper pink, and touch up on the inside, right here and right here. I still want it feathered out. I don't want, you know, very crisp. I just thought it was a little bit too dark right there. Stars. Something too that I could share with you, like as a tip, if you've ever done something and you really don't like it, you think that you've screwed up the whole entire thing, glitter fixes everything. With nails, with hair, everything. No worries, just put some glitter on it and nobody ever know the difference. And then you do something new the next day. All right, this is all I'm gonna do for my eyes right now. Something super, super simple. I'm getting ready to go to an event this evening. I don't want any, you know, heavy eye going on with it. I am gonna be adding on some lashes. So I will do a little bit of liner, but as far as the shadow goes, this is all she wrote. Okay, I'm gonna get out my liner. You can do a couple of things. You can either use like Onyx with a brush to be able to get a liner going. I have this little felt tip pen applicator because I really just need that little bit, and I haven't experimented with the Senegence liners yet. All I'm trying to do is get just like the bare thin line, so that when I do my lashes, I can't see the adhesive up underneath it. Okay, I'm gonna check my other mirror real quick. So right where I made a little bit of a mistake up here, I'm just gonna take and come up above it with a little bit of water, and then you can take your brush with the Whisper pink, and since that's what's up in that area, to be able to correct the mistake. Again, it's super hard to do your makeup in these things, but I am trying my best. Wiping off a little bit of the excess. Blending it up. Okay. I'm going to touch it up on this side real quick and then I'll come back. Okay, so now I've got like a good clean line going on the top of it. For my eyes, I just do the thinnest possible because once the lashes go on there and everything, it kind of shrinks my eye down a little bit more, and I don't want that. I want the lashes to enhance my eye. So I'm gonna do this side. And my touch is so light with this. And I do try to like shimmy down into my actual lash line. So that way when you open up your eyes, if you can see how there's like a light spot and a dark spot, you want to take all of that away, because otherwise, again, when you have your lashes on, you're going to be able to see that little spot. Okay. Sometimes I don't even do it with a liner. I would do it with like a shadow or something, a powdered shadow, just to make sure that it's not going to be too overpowering. Now I'm going to go into my foundations and doing a little bit of highlighting as well. For my skin tone, I can use one of two things, either the dewy or the light tint. Just depends on how much coverage you want. Because of what I am doing right now, I'm going out for an evening event. I'm going to choose to use the dewy instead. But if you use the tinted moisturizer, that would be more for the daytime if you're not really doing that much that day, or you prefer to have a lighter coverage. All of them have mechanical SPF. So they don't contain any of the harsh chemicals or anything like that. But because of the Senegence complex that's in them, you're going to get a mechanical shield over your face. They also are skincare. So any of the products that you use with Senegence, they're actually healthy and good for your skin. Some of them have anti-aging in them, like they have the anti-aging foundations. All of them are beneficial. The foundation brush that I'm choosing to use right now is one of my favorites. It does have a combination of the synthetic hairs and then the natural hairs. So I think that it blends out your foundation really nicely. As I'm coming across the top, I do kind of like outline my brows a little bit. Same with on the underneath. Kind of swipe it underneath there really good. And as I'm swiping up, it takes away any of that excess shadow that might have been in that area. Same thing when I go up in here. I'm kind of swiping it on the inside corner so it'll blend out anything in between your nose and your shadow. Something also that I didn't mention before is I actually used the LipSense remover on my lips before we started this as a primer. So that way, once I go into my LipSense, it'll help to keep it lasting longer because it has a good foundation to start with. Now we're gonna do the highlighting. For my skin tone, I'm going to do two different things. For this purpose, I'm going to show you where I put everything first and then try to hurry up and go back and blend it all in. Normally, I would do either like all of my light first and then go in with my dark. Because of, again, the Senegence dries a little bit faster, so I choose to do one step and then move on to the next. So I'm going to use Snow for my highlight because I do want it to be a good contrast from my skin tone. And then I use Deep Carmel, which is another foundation. Let's see if you can, it's not going to focus in on that one too good. But you just want to choose something a little bit darker. And honestly, by using the sample sizes, it's perfect for travel. And I'm not going to use that much for contouring. So it really works out perfectly for that. I'm going to stuck in my face first so you can see like where my lines would be put. Right there is where I'm going to do my darker lines. I want to do it slightly higher because I have a more round face. So it's going to help to make it look a little bit slimmer. You can do the same thing because of my double chin. I can put a darker line of it right here and then kind of blend it out. And it's going to help to visually say that my neck cuts off here when it really doesn't. But we're going to do some more simple today. Okay, I'm going to do here and do underneath in here. And I do two different brushes as well because you don't want the darker to get into the lighter area. Very thin with the darker. Okay. Now, using both of the natural brushes, I'm just going to work this in now as fast as I can. With normal makeup, I love using a beauty blender. However, with the Senegence, I just find that it does not blend it as well. For one, with the beauty blender, you're supposed to use water with it to really make it like big and plump. And since the foundations are water soluble, they get a better coverage and you can blend better. However, with the Senegence, it's not like that. So it's almost like it smears it around more. Now, if you use it dry, just as like a cosmetic sponge, I think it does okay. But ultimately, for using any of the Senegence makeup, I find that this works the best. So now that I've got that, I'm gonna kind of touch up on my corners. I try to keep the makeup out of my hairline as much as possible, so I'm kind of focusing like on my forehead and then just like wisping it back. See, I'm having to work really, really hard because I didn't do it like one at a time. I just wanted you to see the overall, like, where the contouring goes. And again, this, even when I do the highlighting and everything, I can actually get this done pretty quick in the mornings. On average, about 8 minutes with all the contouring and lashes. Just kind of going in where it's a little bit darker with my regular color of foundation to try to blend it out a little bit more. Because you do want to highlight, but I don't want to look like movie star HD type stuff. Okay, I'm going to check my other mirror real quick. Okay, I have a few of like those little brush hairs all over my nose. Okay. Just like working it, having to work it a little bit more. Again, normally I would go through and do all of my lighter spots first and then go in with the darker. You can do opposite. It really doesn't make any difference. So I'm almost done with all of that. I'm going to go back in and shape my brows again real quick. Just kind of comb them up into place. I also on a regular basis curl my lashes and color my eyebrows so they're a little bit deeper already, but I'm definitely due to do that right now, so you can see that my lashes are pretty straight. I have very long lashes, but they actually go downwards. So this is going to be my first time using their very new mascara, and we're going to test it out and see how it blends with all of the lashes and how much volume and lift I can get out of my own. I definitely, when I do wear mascara, I am a mascara girl. Like, I want them to look like I have arrived. I tend to always do my lower lashes first with this. Just because I find that if I do my tops first and I'm trying to look down, then you can get mascara in places that you don't really want it to be. I must say, like, I really love the tapered brush on this, because I do get in there pretty close. Okay, I'm just going to check my other mirror real quick. You always want to try to get really close into your lash line, just because it's looks really bad when you have, especially if you have lighter ones, if you don't color yours, which normally I would color mine as well. I color them black, so they'll be really, really deep. But if you've got like shadow or something on the up underneath of your lashes, or the top part, but at the base of your lashes, I mean, then when you go in to put in mascara, it's like you have this white line at your lashes. So always try to get as deep as you can into the base of your lashes. Okay, I'm gonna go into the other mirror for this one again, and then I'll come back so you can see a side by side. And my lashes are naturally pretty long, so I don't think that I'm gonna like see a massive amount of volume from this that's normal, but we'll see how much it can kind of lift them up and create some fullness. Okay, so that's just one coat, the difference in between the two, so I can see a difference with how lifted this outside corner is versus how this one is still going pretty downwards. I would definitely do another coat of this once it's drier, but it's very easy to manipulate the lashes upwards with it. So when you apply your synthetic, mink, artificial, whatever lashes on top of this, if your natural lashes are not very curled, then you're gonna have an issue with blending the two of them together. It'll just like look straight. Your own lashes look straight when someone's looking at you, and the other ones are gonna be super curled. So you want to try to get as much lift as you can out of your own, and getting as tight into the inside and outside corners as well, because if you can get those little lash hairs covered with mascara, then it's going to make your eyes have even more depth to them. Okay, I definitely think, even though I'm used to them being curlier because of what I do, they have a lot more volume or lift to them than what they normally would, because they're not going downwards at all. All right, now we're gonna go with our lashes. These are one of my favorites, the Double Up 205s. I'm gonna take them out of the package, but you always wanna make sure that you keep the little package, because when you take these off at night, that's your suitcase for your lashes. I'm going to try to show you this the best I can. You want to try to roll down with your thumb on the outside corner, and then go all the way to the inside and just slowly rock it off of there. If you take tweezers with these, you have to be really gentle, and a lot of times you will destroy the lashes. If you happen to be using a set that has rhinestones on them, then you do have to use tweezers. You just want to try to be as gentle as possible with them. So right now, try to show you the band of this. I was taking off any of the extra adhesive that was here on the inside band just from the packaging, and kind of like a rubber cement, so it comes off pretty easy. For myself, I know I don't need to trim these, but if you were going to test them for your length, I would roll the lashes back and forth first. I do apologize for my nails, but I'm practicing for competition stuff, so they're very on off, on off. Okay, once you have gotten it like that, my favorite tool for doing lashes on myself is this one, Ardell. The reason why I like this is because on this side of the head when I'm applying them, it can curve off to the side so I can actually see where I'm putting them. And then the same thing on this side, it can curve off to the side so I can actually kind of come in and get them where I need to go. So this one is going to be for my left eye. And if I was testing, I would come in, just set it on top of my lashes and kind of look and gauge side to side. You don't want it to be too close on the inside corner. It should be about 1/4 of an inch away from your waterline. And the same thing on the outside. If you run into the problem where the lash itself is way too short, then you can combine them. You know, like if I really like the fullness of this one, but it cuts off because your eye is that large, then maybe take this one, pull it to the outside corner like this, and then use like a 110 or a baby's or something on the inside to fill in that gap. I've seen some really gorgeous, gorgeous eyes. Over the course of being an educator for Ardell, I did that for, 14 years? So, massive differences in people's eyes, and I never thought that I would see someone eye that you put a lash on and they still got like a whole nother 1/2 inch that you have something to do with. So you've got to learn to be able to stack and layer them to custom fit for your customer's eyes. We're going to talk about adhesives for a second. If you have a latex allergy, they have both the Duo brush on adhesive. This one just happens to be in dark. And Duo has both a clear and a dark, as well as Ardell has their own brush on adhesive. This one just happens to be in the clear. And then you have your good old one that does have latex in it, the Lash Grip. This one I find is going to last the longest through everything. It's my preference for like a go-to. But if you've got someone who has very sensitive skin or has allergies, then you have no choice but to go in with these. If you're choosing to use either one of the latex free, the application is completely different. So I'm going to do one application on one eye and one on the other one just so that you can see the difference in the both of them. With the Lash Grip, I choose, you need to put it on something else. Some people like to put their adhesive on the container and then kind of drag the lash through it. But if you're keeping your container because you want to have the longevity of them and put them back in there as their suitcase, then doing that is going to get your container all messy. So I have these little toothpicks that I normally use because they're all wooden, so it's very easy. But for right now, we're just going to use my Q-tip because it's handy here, and put a small amount of the black adhesive onto it. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and rub it along the edge of the lash like that. You don't need a massive amount of adhesive in order to get this stuff to stay. While it's drying, I'm gonna dry it into a curved shape. You wanna wait about 30 seconds before you go in to apply them. This gives the adhesive a little bit of time to set up and get tacky. If you don't wait this amount of time, once you go to place down your lash, it's just gonna pop up, and then you're gonna have this major issue with like coming up and down, up and down, up and down. Every time it pops off, that means less adhesion for you in the long term. Oh, all right, I'm gonna have to do this in the other mirror. So I'm gonna come in like really center. Okay, so all I did was place this one down. Then you can come in and kind of like tighten up your inside and outside corners and hold it in place. With this adhesive, it is designed to be on your skin, not the lashes itself. Okay, so all I'm doing right now is just kind of curving my own lashes up to meet it so that it's gonna sit as close as possible. If you get the adhesive into your lashes, then when you go to take them off at night, you risk having lash loss. Okay. All right, and while that one is setting up, I'm gonna go and do the other one. Take it off of the tray in the same way. And you can see like a massive difference to me. Like this to me would be more of like a daytime, oh, I'm going to work. This, I'm going out with my man. You need to do something with that. It could be an everyday look too, depending on, like with the depth of the makeup that I'm wearing right now, I could totally pull that off. But for some people, it's too much. And these are, again, they're the double up, so they're pretty thick. Okay, so that one you had a little bit of working time with to be able to get it on, or you needed to wait a little bit of time to be able to get it on your skin. With the latex free ones, you're going to apply it immediately. So you need to be really prepared with your application, your lashes, everything, because it dries a lot quicker. I do find with the latex free ones, if you're trying to do them on like the baby's lashes or something that does not have as thick of a band, they're not going to last as long for you, versus the contact area of the double ups is a lot larger. So because you have more adhesive, they stick really well. So this is an instant situation. Oh, it is so hard to tell the depth of these. All right. Okay, so now I got that in. Again, immediately go in with this. Both of the blacks start off gray, and then they dry totally, completely black. With either one of them, if you happen to touch up into your makeup, all you have to do is wait for it to completely dry, and then you can take like a pointed tweezer or sometimes even the cotton on your Q-tip and just like touch it, and it'll be slightly tacky for you to be able to pull it off. Okay, again, I'm just like trying to blend my own lashes into this as well as get them as close as possible. But you don't want to go in at the base, like, you know, in here and squeeze down, because you're pushing the adhesive into your lashes, which over time is not a good thing for you. Okay. Looks good to me. I'm going to try to get like close, let you see on the underneath all of the blending. And if you wanted to, you could go in with your mascara again to add another coat and help to blend in your own lashes with the artificial ones. These happen to be human hair, but still, they're not yours, so they're artificial. Just kind of separating them out a little bit and allowing them to completely blend in, but I really don't have to do a lot because the new mascara lifted up my own lashes pretty good. Okay. Now we're gonna do lips. LipSense is why I originally got into doing Senegence. Put this back in here. I don't wear makeup like on a daily basis like this. I'm more natural. And with lipsticks, what I've always found is that I don't want to have to worry as I'm working on a client whether or not I've got lipstick up here or over here or what have you. So why wear it? Because I don't want to, you know, end up having to deal with that or reapplication throughout the day. With the LipSense, it's designed to last all day for you. I'm going to do an ombre. The two different colors I'm going to use is Be Ruby and Cappuccino. So even doing this, my ombre is going to last all night long. It's a little bit later. It's like 3:30, 4 o'clock right now. So definitely would be lasting into the morning if I wanted it to be at this point. But if you applied it early in the morning, you can make it through your entire workday, eating, drinking, everything, and it's still going to be on at the evening. Right now I'm just lining as thin as possible. Getting all the way into your crease. And then I'm going to dab it with a drier brush so that it'll blend down. Each coat that you do, you need to wait a few seconds in between for it to completely dry before you do your next one. With Senegence, if you have just say a one color application, you do 3 coats of it for the longest wear. But if you want just to have a little bit of color that day, you can just do the one and do your gloss and you'll be fine. But if it's going to start to break down a little bit quicker because it doesn't have that full coverage. So I'm going to do my bottom, same thing. Came down a little far. If you remove it right away real quick, you won't have any problems. If you wait a little bit too long, that's when you would use the Oops remover to go in and just kind of line up a little bit on that edge. Same thing, I'm going to use the dryer brush to just kind of dab it. Like so. And dry. And do another coat. I'll do all of the darker first and then go back in with my lighter. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna check it. Pretty good and even. I'm gonna do one more coat. Yeah, right now, if I put my lids together, it'll stick together. So you have to keep them separated until you put the gloss on. Okay. Ooh. With this, if you want to make your lips look like even fuller than what they really naturally are, then you can outline them just that little bit more and not have to worry about it rubbing off weird or what have you. And like you saw with that, by me using the applicator just on the edge of it, you can treat the darker colors as a liner and do a lighter on the inside if you want, instead of getting the liner specifically. Or you can go in and buy these little guys and dip them into the tubes, and this will also allow you to use them as a liner if you want something very, very thin and detailed. With the Cappuccino, I'm just going to go over the whole entire thing because I like the look of the coverage with them. If you only wanted to use this on the inside for a highlight, you totally can. I'm going to show you a little bit of that first. So I would dab it here and then just leave it. So when you see, a lot of times they'll do it here and then right here, it just gives you that sun-kissed highlight look. Perfect for it. You can do that with any of your, do like a solid darker color and then just go in with a lighter to give it that sun kiss. And this has a little shimmer to it, so it's going to work perfect for an application like that. I do get on the inside with one that I'm doing all over because, again, this is going to last all day. It's not going to wear away on that inside like what regular lipsticks would do. So you want to get a full coverage. Just trying to get it to dry a little bit. You want to try as much as you can to just do like one swipe, but if it has a little bit more of the product, then work it back and forth. The idea is that you would do one swipe from one side over to one side and then go and do your inside if you have bigger lips, and then you don't want to mess with it. Let it dry for at least 30 seconds between each coats. Oops, dry that one off a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so if you were to see this in person, it is like maybe 2 to 3 shades lighter on the inside than what it is on the outside. If I did not cover that darker color, then it would be even more of a difference in between it, but I don't want it to be such a stark change. And then all we're gonna have to do now is apply our gloss. And I do like the Glossy Gloss the best. It's the most hydrating out of all of them. If you're using a solid color and you want a little bit of shimmer, they do have the diamond glosses as well. But ultimately in the beginning, to get your lips the most shine possible, I would start off doing the Glossy Gloss. They do have a matte as well that looks fantastic. So with this, I would be done with my makeup application. So we're going to show you the full look because that's what I'm about, because this looks kind of crazy. But I do sleep like this at night. And when I take out my rollers, I do it from behind, lift up, and then spiral it down. The curl pattern that this is going to give you is like a very beachy type wave. And because it was a wet set, you don't have any damage to your hair at all. Sleeping on it, it's slightly uncomfortable, but you get used to it. I have a really good soft pillow, so I don't really have to worry about it. It kind of sinks into the pillow. And I really, on a regular basis, I might use like 4 or 5 of them. I want the curl pattern to be a little bit larger. So you don't want to use super tiny ones or take super small sections with this. Get it completely straight and then take it out like this. If you don't take it out with that curve, then it's going to get really tangled and messy looking. See, like that's perfect. I like that one. I wrapped that one well. The center one's normally always a little bit difficult as far as trying to get it to lay down right. I normally have to do a little bit more manipulation with that one to get it to come out. Now look at the curls. All the curls, the girls can go out and play. Okay, I hope that helped you in your Senegence journey. I will be posting more as I go along and learn more about the tips and tricks of how to use the products. Thanks, and I hope you guys have a great night.